I'm Varsha Gaitonde. I'm the Vice President of Pharmacy Services at QuVa Pharma, a leading 503B provider. QuVa Pharma was purpose-built by our founders pursuant to the DQSA, so to change the 503B sterile compounding for better. We are committed to quality in all we do, from the people we hire, the processes we adhere to, and even the stuff that we buy from other manufacturers. We vet everything to make sure that we adhere to the 503B DQSA as well as cGMP guidelines. We are regulated and inspected by the FDA as well as the state boards of pharmacy, and we also have to adhere to all the DEA regulations when we manufacture controlled substances. We are also subject to all the state controlled substance requirements, as well as any reporting requirements that the states as well as the DEA require us to do. I am in charge of the oversight of all of our compliance policies and procedures so that we remain compliant across all of our regulatory agencies, which I mentioned before. QuVa follows strict GMPs, with the C in the cGMP standing for current GMP. So we strive to not only stay current, but also stay ahead by reviewing all the guidances and actions in our industry as a collective understanding to not just what we hear from the FDA, but what the FDA tells everybody, all the guidance documents and everything that's out there. And we anticipate the changes that will come from them, and we apply those changes proactively so that we are always in a state of compliance. My group documents what needs to change and ensures that we are actually in compliance and we're applying all those guidances to our policies, processes, and procedures to ensure that we deliver the highest quality medications to our hospitals. My group not only has cGMP experts and FDA experts, we also have pharmacists. So we are in compliance with all the regulations, but we also make sure that clinically, whatever we do is relevant to what the hospitals do. The FDA has these guidances in place so that the NACC episode does not happen again. That's a very important milestone, and that's a very important metric that we have to adhere to. Not just that we make everything right, that we make all of our compounded preparations as they should be made, but that we also make sure that they're safe and effective for our patients. As a previous hospital pharmacist, I do know that hospital pharmacies have to focus at a level of patient care, bedside care, and they have to understand the value that is provided by 503 and 503 companies to enable the pharmacists to actually go on the floors and provide direct patient care that they're trained to do. Pharmacists, now we have provider responsibilities, we have other responsibilities in addition to making our compounded preparations. So partnering with 503 and 503B helps hospital pharmacists do what they're actually trained to do, what they are good at doing. At the same time, the hospitals, the pharmacists at hospitals and the PICs and the DOPs are held responsible to ensure that all the 503A and 503B products that they buy are up to the quality standards that are required, not only by their own hospitals and the FDA, but also by the Joint Commission and the boards of pharmacy. So the onus ends up being on the directors of pharmacy and the pharmacists at the hospital who sign off on the medications to make sure that 503 and 503B partners are compliant and that they can reduce the regulatory risk and provide quality products that are safe and effective for the patients. So the onus being on the 503 and 503B pharmacies is to produce good quality products, but the DOPs also have to make sure that who they're buying from are actually up to the standards. So my passion here and my topic here is to educate and help the hospital pharmacist, given the evolving regulatory landscape, the increasingly higher compounding standards, so that they can go through the list of requirements that they should evaluate in their 503 and 503B partners. They can use the checklist, go down the path, and figure out if their 503B and 503 partners are in fact compliant. And this changes their responsibilities to not just understand, but also evaluate very quickly what is happening in the 503 and 503B world. They don't have to read each and every FDA guidance, but they do know that this is where the guidance applies. This is what I have to check for to make sure that my patients get safe and effective medications. I also want to help the hospital pharmacies and the DOPs to choose the right partner for their hospital so they can translate the requirements from the regulatory bodies into what is safe and effective for the patients to what is required at the bedside. This is why I would like to provide a tool that the pharmacist can systematically evaluate all of their partners and that they are up to the mark and that they will provide them with quality products and not end up like an NACC down the road at any point, because at this point, what you see is just a snapshot in time. So evaluating a partner down the checklist will help them see what is happening down the road. Where is the being proactive in evaluating what is happening at their partner. I would also like to learn from my other partners in the 503B and 503A world, as well as the hospital partners that are attending this conference, what their needs are, because we can't enhance our service and meet them in a vacuum. We have to know what they want so that we can be better partners and help the hospitals do what they do best, take care of their patients. We are not a drug manufacturer that does clinical trials and says, okay, this is a great drug, right? We are service providers. So we have to help hospitals and get their products that they actually want, that the hospital anesthesiologists need, that the hospital OR needs, ER needs, so that we can provide the drugs that they use in their daily course of practice. And that's why we don't market our drugs as, oh, well, you can use this now. We market our drugs as you're already using them, but we can help you make them more effective and we can take that burden off of you so that you cannot, you don't have to make them, we make them for you. And so we want to provide services that you require. And we also want to help all of the our hospital partners in their medication safety efforts, not just in terms of compounding medications, but also labeling and other aspects so that they can do what they're trained to do, is take care of patients at the bedside. I can't stress that enough, that pharmacists at the hospitals are required at the patient's bedside to make sure that the drugs are right dose, right drug, right indication for a patient, and they can leave their compounding to us and be assured that they get a safe and effective product.